This week on the HomeBod podcast, we want to introduce Chris to you. She is one of these businesswomen that have learned how to pivot in the last couple of years. And this is the story of the female entrepreneur, right? We need to pivot when we need to. She used to work in the hotel industry in sales and marketing. She was the team lead for 18 plus years. And then welcome 2020. Yeah, that happened. And you guessed it, she had to switch to a new career. Her father was diagnosed with cancer. She needed to find a new way of self-preservation and a way to make money and just survive. So she pivoted, became an Instagram marketing strategist, and decided to help other people who were just like herself to start over with a new career and a new business. And the biggest we were talking with Chris before we hit record here, and she said the biggest mindset shift, the place where she lives in her mind right now, is in a place of gratitude. And so we're going to dig into this conversation with Chris today, not only about social media marketing, but doing that to promote a happy home, head, and health through the mindset of gratitude. So let's go.
Hey, hello, Heather and Ashley. Thanks for inviting me over, to your podcast. It's nice to be here.
It's really cool to be talking to someone like clear across the world.
Yeah, Chris, you're coming to us from the Philippines. So
Yes,
it's afternoon here, it's morning there. I love time travel. It's amazing.
it's 5:35 a.m. here. So
Oh my
good morning.
goodness. Bright and
It's
early.
okay. Yeah, I wake up really early. So yeah.
That's great. So tell us how you do social media marketing. We connected via Instagram because I
Yeah.
was really drawn to your content. You offer some really, really good content. And now after hearing your story, that you just kind of had to figure this out. I want to know how you ended up having this amazing knowledge and how you ended up in this place. How did you get here?
Okay, so right before I started my business in February this year, so it was actually in October last year when I became unemployed from my hotel job of 18 plus years. I was already leading a team, and at that point, I thought that that was already like the lowest point of my career or of my life even. But it was not until a month after when, my father was diagnosed with tonsil cancer that I really hit my rock bottom. I was I am one of the breadwinners in the family. And obviously I knew I had to do more, in order to earn more. At the time, I have a small business. I had a small business. I was selling all sorts of stuff, and probably many people can relate to me. Last year, many people did sell a lot of stuff on social media, right? Many people became unemployed also last year, and I just at that point in time when we were at the doctor's office, all I could think of was that I just recently resigned. I actually did not lose my job. I was actually hoping that I was part of the team that was retrenched so that I could have some severance pay. But I actually resigned. The conditions that was presented to us was no longer favorable. We had to report to an office twice a week, and it was 45 kilometers away from where I live. So um, the the instinct at that time was to just resign and focus on my small time business. I was already earning not that much, but I can get by until could find another job. But the urgency that my father had this um, cancer, it's just unimaginable. So at that point, all I could think of, it's really hard to be grateful, really, when
Sure.
you're at that point. Um, but what I did was really, I actually developed a term for it. I called it CFCTT. So I just had to focus on things that I can control and things that are possible or doable at that certain or at a certain time period, because it's hard to like make a goal from something significant where it's not realistic, right? So at that point I just really had to focus on things that I can do and that is possible within a certain time frame.
That's great.
So
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
yeah,
such good advice
yeah.
for people, you know, especially you're in an emotional situation. You're already upset over your dad. You're upset over your work situation. Thank goodness you had already gotten the ball rolling with this. Thank goodness with that. But I think even if you hadn't, it sounds like you had the determination and the drive to do something, anything. And I
Well,
think
and I appreciate that you said, there was a sense of urgency and you had just quit your job and there was, that sense of urgency to get in and be the breadwinner and to pick something up and run with it. And that can be a motivator for people, but it can also be one of those that shuts people down, that says, I don't have the confidence to do this. I can't do this. I can't make that kind of money this quickly. And so to see that you've taken it and you used it as motivation and that you were able to sit in that place of gratitude at that particular time to say, all right, here we go. I've got nothing left to lose, but then to really focus on the basics. What do I need to do right now? What do I need to do today to springboard you into something more realistic? That's very telling with, as somebody who is going through that transition. How can you take that and springboard yourself into a position where you're not in survival mode anymore? You're actually in a place where you can be productive and proactive rather than hitting the rock bottom. So tell me, Chris, is that what made you, did you take that sense of urgency and turn it into a passion? Or was that passion for what you're doing already there and you just use that urgency to get you in the door faster?
actually at that time wasn't I wasn't thinking about social media marketing yet, because I remember I was still doing my gardening business. I actually developed a leaf spray, and I was able to sold thousands of bottles of it. But I knew that it wasn't sustainable, and so I knew I had to do something else. Although at the time it's the only thing that I could think of, and it's the only thing that I have. So to be honest, I don't know what happened. I just did it. But all I can remember was that I think I was awake 24/7, to be honest. Really, it was like I was in a different world. My family was here, but I was focusing on my small business. And with keeping in mind at the time that I know that it wasn't sustainable because I couldn't earn enough from that. That's when I really studied about other things that I can do. So I browsed through job vacancies, and I saw that there are a lot of opportunities for social media managers, and that's what got me really into it. So I studied about it. I enrolled in courses. I looked for the big creators who are into social media marketing. So I observed what they're doing, what they're sharing. Um, so there, I just really I knew that it wasn't easy. Although I've been doing Instagram marketing since 2013. I was actually a professional makeup artist on the side. So I was active for about 5 years. I would do wedding gigs, fashion gigs on the side during weekends, apart from my 9 to 5 job. And then in 2019, when I became interested in gardening, so that those are the only things that I can say that I was able to do. But it wasn't even, it was actually far from what I'm doing now. I mean, the strategies that I know now is far from what I know
What a
way back
bunch of
then.
pivots. Like you've not just pivoted because of 2020, you have pivoted like 5 times.
Yeah.
What a bunch of different, that's really cool. I
That's
love a couple things. I love that you sought out some information, and you went and educated yourself. I think a lot of times that's where we get paralyzed when we want to do something new, we want to change something, is we don't know where to start looking. And it sounds like you found some really good information. And I also love that you look to someone who is already there. That's huge. I think anytime we want to make a change, whether it's a change with your body, a change with your house, a change with your career, to look at someone who's been there, done that, is already there, and emulate what they're doing is amazing. I can't remember if it was a podcast or a book I read, but they were talking about exactly that, that if you want to be successful, it's okay to quote unquote copy people, not in a sense that you like make a program that looks just like theirs and put a different name on it, but that you look at their approach to things. You look at their way that they connect with their, followers or their clients, and take from that, or someone who's already has the healthy lifestyle you want. What are they doing? And you take from that and emulate that. Not because you can copy exactly and it'll work for everybody, because I say that no one has a
Exactly.
carbon copy thing. But if I watch how Ashley organizes somebody's house and she posts a picture and it's got all these cool creative ways of putting things, I can go, you know what? I can probably do that too. Am I going to go buy the exact same bins? No. But, I love that. I'm very, very inspired by you.
Exactly. So we can, copy, of course, not word for word and not exactly what they're doing, right? But yeah, draw inspiration from what they're doing. They have to be your role model, and until you found your own voice. So yeah, yeah,
so
So
Chris,
there.
tell me where you found gratitude. So, I mean, you've hit rock bottom. Your dad is diagnosed with cancer. You just got out of one business. You have lots of interests and hobbies, but nothing, you're feeling urgency. Like, where did you find the space to live in a state of gratitude? Where does that come into all of this?
Um, I sometimes comparison is also good. There are so many people who are, last year here, there are a lot of, families who are losing someone, their loved ones, and who are in, a far more or less, um, how do you call that? Um, who are in a much more difficult situation than I am. So we we have been visiting the hospital, and I seen even kids who has cancer, and at that point it, I mean, I'm not comparing it that my father is already 65 years old, and but it's just that at least he's 65, and there's this kid beside us who is 5 years old and is going through chemotherapy. So at that point, it just really made me see things in a different way. And to be honest, as I've mentioned earlier, it's hard to feel grateful when you're in that situation. To be honest, I couldn't even say that I was grateful at the time, but you can actually say it that, because you're still recognizing things that you can do instead of what you just lost, or what you just,
yes,
yeah.
100%.
So I, you know when I try to analyze things, it still boils down to gratitude, right? So it's recognizing the things that are still within reach, things that you can still do within the limited resources that you have. And Yeah, I think being grateful is really is a lifesaver.
Well, that's part of what you said earlier too, that you said, I don't remember the acronym you used, but you focused on what you could control, which
Yes,
helps immensely.
FTPC.
Yeah. Helps you figure out, okay, where do I start? Focus on what I can control. When the world feels like it's spinning out of control around me, what can I control? I think that's a beautiful place to start. And I think a lot of our clients and the ladies that we work with, that's where they are lost. They're in the tornado. They're in the tornado of life, of busy, of chaos in their home, chaos in their body, chaos in their life, and they don't know where to start.
And
Exactly.
when you start, right, when you start being grateful, things would just become easier, to be honest. I remember when we took it just one step at a time, things would become. I remember the doctor that we first saw, he actually referred us. It turns out that he was a medical consultant at this hospital. Um, and he referred us to the CSR, to the corporate social responsibility. And my dad became a blue card patient, and we had to pay really very minimal amount with his surgery. So yes, I think it just really comes all together when you start recognizing things. It's not that bad after all.
That's you've put so many feelings into words that it's remarkable. One of the things that we do here on the podcast is to kind of connect different realms of our lives. So, Heather's the physical trainer, I'm the professional organizer, you're the Instagram guru. But when it comes to mindset and creating a happy home, head, and health, like gratitude is one of the best places that we can be in. And in the world of professional organizing, it is a place where we can actually learn how to let go and progress forward. So when we're feeling guilty about letting go of something, guilt is usually self-imposed and self-inflicted. And the best way that we can let go of something and move on is to see the gratitude in the act of letting go, to be grateful for what we had in the past, to be grateful for what we have now, and to be grateful for what we could receive in the future, but also to be able to let go and let somebody else be grateful for what we let go of. And so gratitude plays a huge role in professional organizing. And so I love these conversations because you've just put into words these feelings of everything that you went through in the health world and creating a new business and doing everything in this state of gratitude of, you could have been really bitter. You could have sat back and said, life sucks. This is awful. What am I going to do now? And instead you found the room to be grateful for what you had, grateful for what you have now, that you don't have a worst case scenario on your hands. And that led you to be able to progress and to move forward and to see what you can control now. I think a lot of times gratitude leads the way, is the precursor to hope, that it allows us to hope that, yeah, I can become that person. I can have that type of body, that type of Instagram account. I can do that because I can be grateful for what I have now. And therefore I can see that it's just not all that bad. Oh, you mean I can progress? I can move forward from here? That's awesome.
Absolutely.
You know what's something else that you
I
mentioned?
think it's.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one other thing
Yeah.
you mentioned that I thought was really interesting is that you said comparison can actually be good. I instantly was like, nuh-uh, because I am always telling people not to compare themselves to others because, especially as you know, in the world of social media, it can make you feel really bad. I have so many people come to me and they have these not even unrealistic expectations of themselves, but they just feel terrible because they don't look the way the person they see on Instagram looks, or they don't have the house and the, perfect, I call it a Pinterest perfect life. I can't even handle Pinterest. I can't even get on it because it makes me feel bad about myself. is I don't decorate my house super cute for every holiday, and I don't do all those things. So I think it's important to say, yeah, comparison actually can be good. You just have to find the right things, and not even, like you said, not necessarily looking at someone's misfortune and going, well, I'm glad I'm not you, but looking at someone being like, wow, I'm, I could be in that situation, or I could have that, but I'm pretty glad I have this. My watch thinks I'm talking to it. Sorry. Um, I will say, I just told someone this morning, I was reflecting on where I was 10 years ago. It's my birthday week, so that's what I do. I start to reminisce. And
sentimental.
Birthday.
and I was, reflecting on where I was 10 years ago, and realizing that I would have given anything to be in the situation I'm in now when I was then, right? I thought I was never going to be where I am now because of the things that were going on in our lives. And you have to take a moment, not to just compare to others, but to compare to where you've been. Like, look at how far you've done so many different things. Looking back, you've had all these different experiences, but starting a different business, starting multiple businesses lined you up for this one, So all those things we go through along the way, they suck when you're in it, but then you get to reflect back and go, okay, one, what did I learn? And man, am I grateful that I'm not there anymore.
Uh-huh.
It's really easy to really feel bad. And of course, I'm in the business. I've seen a lot of accounts that are bigger, who I feel like, oh, they're better, they're more successful. And the quickest solution really is to recognize your progress and, yeah, be grateful. Your present situation can be someone's someone could be dreaming of where you are in right now. So yeah, again, it really boils down to being grateful. Yeah.
So Chris, if you're a social media manager, obviously everything that you do is online. So how
Right.
can you help women who are starting over, who, when COVID hit, or because of other reasons, because they want to, and they're just starting out, they're just starting a business. How can you help them build their social media presence?
Um, are you talking about my advice, or I mean, how can I
What
help in
services?
terms of? Oh, okay.
So whether that's somebody in the United States, in Canada, and Africa, social media, you can manage anything from anywhere, I'm assuming. So how do you help women all over? What services can you provide for them?
Yeah, so we do full social media marketing management. We also do community management, wherein, people, how busy business owners can get, right? They don't have time to engage. So we can do that for them. We can manage their own community on their behalf, because social media is about, building connections, building genuine relationships with your audience or your target client. And engaging really is a crucial part. It's one of the things that could get you discovered by your potential clients, and it's one of the things that could get your audience to get to know you, like and trust you, which we all know is the formula to making them become a buyer, or converting them from a follower to become a buyer. So yeah.
That's impressive. I'm always impressed with people who can do that just naturally and just kind of whip that stuff out there, because that is not my forte.
Nor is it mine.
There's another mindset for that. It's a certain sales mindset. So yeah, well, you have to have helping people mindset. When your client or your audience feels that you have the genuine intention to really help them, and you're not just after their money, people will just gravitate towards you. So, which is why social media is about providing value. Value is always about value. It's them first, not us. So yeah,
That's one of the
helping
things.
people
Sorry.
mindset.
Perfect word. I'm involved with so many networking groups that, we always say, work with people that you know, like, and trust. And I think in the last year, the biggest word for me has been value. That, yeah, you need to know them, you need to like them and trust them, but can they add value to your business? And that's what I've appreciated about this conversation, Chris, that it's been valuable to learn where you have come from and the mindset that you're bringing into your business, and to know that, you know, behind the story is somebody who knows how to grab life by the horns and take it and run with it. So really appreciated this conversation, Chris. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that's what attracted me to your content in the first place, was that I could tell you were genuine. And that's huge for me. Like I have to have, like Ashley said, I'm part of so many groups too. And it's like, you can tell who wants your money and who just wants to make a connection.
Yeah.
I think coming
Right.
out of COVID and all that, I think connection that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Chris, how we edit the clips going into this.
You know, this life is about growing. We age, we grow, and it's not just, you know, growing physically, growing by becoming really old, growing through learning. You know, it's all about growing. It's all about, you know, embracing the challenges, the all the learnings, all the all the struggles that you're gonna come across with. We can convert them into purpose, not just remember the pain, but to really remember what we can learn from all those things. So yeah, be open to growth.
Goosebumps. Thank you so much for your time today. We really do appreciate it, spending your morning with us, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thank you for inviting me over.